Everybody, this is Christy with Planted Places and David Levine of MyHomePark. And I'm so excited to have David with us because he's going to talk all about his exciting, very cool company. And we are so aligned. Before we do anything, let's tell everybody about what we're doing this week. I mean, this is exciting. Yeah.
So, Christy had a great idea of doing a promotion where we could expose people who are interested in sustainability, interested in restoring their habitats, give them a combination of that along with growing their own food. And so we are offering $100 towards both Planted Places and My Home Park. And how do they do that, Chrissy? How can they
It's,
possibly get that?
I know, isn't it awesome? I mean, it's like $200 to spend on nothing but plants and planters. Like, that's exciting. So yeah, so what we're gonna do, guys, is we have a link. So if you go to either Planted Places or My Home Park to our pages, you'll see there is a link in Instagram, and there's also going to be a link in this post, this live post that shows you where to go to sign up for the giveaway. And you just put your name in there, and then we're gonna obviously put you in the drawing, and we're gonna draw it on Monday, July 31st. So you guys got 5 days to jump in there. So tell your friends everything. Just spread the word, because we want more people growing sustainably, for
And
sure.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Chrissy, we've known each other. We knew each other a
yeah,
long time ago,
long
and
time. Yeah,
our career paths just happen to diverge at this point. But
yeah,
I am very interested in a plant-based diet right now. And I'm starting to learn to appreciate greens, like for lunch, instead of having a sandwich now,
yeah,
the mix of greens. So how many different greens could I grow with one of your Planted Places
yeah.
packages?
Yeah, yeah. So what we do is what we do basically is we make it easy for people to grow food at home without a raised bed or without a lot of space, and to do it sustainably. So we do it with vertical walls. We actually designed our own mobile vertical garden that grows food. And then we also do it in container gardens, because you can do both of those. Now the planted wall is cool because, of course, it saves 99% of the water that you would normally spend in a garden bed, or growing vegetables in a garden bed. So but what we do is we ship everything to you, directly to you, right from the grower. It's all organic. So these are like starter seedling plants, and you basically can grow, think of it like all your fast growing lettuce and leafy greens, things that grow fast. Those are also the things that spoil the fastest in your
Right,
refrigerator, right?
right.
End up in the landfill, putting methane into the air. So we do lettuce, leafy greens, every kind of herb you can think of, micro tomatoes, jalapenos. So some of the kind of more like miniature fruiting plants, but then mostly you're thinking of your bok choy, your kale, and your spinach, and your Swiss chard, and every possible kind of lettuce. And we grow year round. So we have heat
Amazing.
tolerant lettuces. Like, it's kind of behind me. If I stand over there, you wouldn't be able to see me because it'd be too sunny. But we got some lettuces that are like in full bloom, and then I've got some new ones that are growing in right now. But we just get heat tolerant ones that can handle the heat, and then in the
And
cold.
how many
Yeah.
lunches could that make for me in a month?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So here's the thing. Um, if you think about it, so it grows 36 plants because it's two sides. And so if you figure out like how heavy is a head of lettuce, et cetera, it grows about 23 pounds a month
Whoa.
of, isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are a huge salad eater, or you want to put lettuce, like lettuce wraps, whichever, you would just grow all lettuce and put some leafy greens. You got a lot of people, right, that love to cook with herbs, and there's so many delicious herbs. And so oftentimes they'll put herbs all on one side and then all your leafy greens and lettuce on the other side, right? And then they're just going. But I do want to say what's important, I think where the link with us too, which is so important, is we grow in soil. Like, it's all about the soil. It's not hydroponics, because soil's where the nutrition is. That's where all those, like the soil web, all those microbes that actually are what build your gut biome. It's the same thing that's in the soil. So you want to have really healthy soil. I like to call it magic soil. So we send people soil and seedlings in our subscription. You just, keep replenishing and, reconditioning that soil. And, it's really cool. But let's talk, David, I want to talk about native plants. And I have such awesome stories about native plants. I'm going to walk this way so you could see. It's too bright, but see behind me, like there, you can't, it's too bright, but there's one, it's called a margarita bop. I'm gonna say the word wrong. Pestamon. I'm gonna say it wrong here.
Penstemon, right?
Penstemon.
Penstemon.
That thing is a bee magnet. Oh my gosh, I'm not kidding. I will be I will be out here and there will be hundreds of like just bumblebees, carpenter bees, tons of hummingbirds. It's crazy how many pollinators come all around my backyard now. And it's because I brought in the native plants. And it's so I'm like a testament to your business. But tell us about your
Yeah,
business. Yeah.
that's a great point. So when I'm a product person. So when I first looked at how can I help bees, I thought, can I build a better bee house? And luckily I met Wyatt, Wyatt Shell is my partner, and he's studied wild bees for years and years. He got his PhD. And he said to me, it's not houses they need, it's the habitat. So if you give them the habitat, they'll find the food, they'll find the living space, they'll find an area to reproduce. So we thought about how can we encourage people to restore habitats for pollinators, birds, and beneficial insects. And that's where we came up with My Home Park. It is native plants. We pre-design the garden for you. You can choose it like you would choose a sofa based on size and color. And we ship
Okay.
it to your door with a planting map, and you just plant these plugs. And you can see around me, I mean, what's going on right now is insane. The amount of bee activity too. But
Yeah.
after about 3 months, you have a nice garden. After a year, you have a very full native plant habitat.
Well, and I think what's cool about that too is, I'm sure customers might say this to you, where, I remember when you first plant it, right? You want to plant it kind of small because they get established, they get big, and people don't know that, right? And they want to I want a really big plant. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's gonna you just got to be patient for a few months, and then, I'm on, I think, year 5, and I literally, I have to cut this thing after the plant that's closest to us. Forget the name again, but it's got these
Penstemon, yeah.
goldenrod,
Oh,
goldenrod.
golden,
That's,
okay.
yeah, beautiful yellow, but it's a little early for it to bloom right now, and it will just be full bloom. But it dies back, and so then you think it's gone, and then voop, spring comes, and it just keeps going. So, but it's amazing, and I will say watering, right? Like once they get established, you don't really have to water them much,
Yeah,
which
I know you guys, I can't even talk about drought here in Ohio because you guys have lived through years
yeah,
and years of it, but we've had 3-week periods without water. And native plants, because they've evolved in your area, and we
mhm,
design the garden based on your location, they've evolved there. They know how to handle these droughts, and they know how to use water very efficiently. So whereas the weeds won't grow because there's no water, native plants will continue to thrive.
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's that arbor behind me, that is a wild California grape. It's another organic, a native plant to California. And that thing it gets hardly any water. And again, I wish I was closer. It's got so many grapes on it. The first year it didn't really produce fruit, but that's typical of fruiting plants. Strawberries are like that too. And then, it's usually 2, 3 that it just like boom starts really producing for you once it gets established. But I barely water that thing, and that's a perfect testament to that. It almost likes to be stressed.
Right?
you know yeah,
The
yeah.
advantage they have.
Uh-huh.
So if someone is interested in um, potentially getting $100 towards planted places and $100 towards My Home Park, Chrissy, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so literally, guys, all you need to do is we're gonna have a link right in this post. And you also, if you happen to be on our Instagram, pages as well, we have our link in our profile, goes right to the giveaway page where you enter your name. And all you gotta do is enter your name and your email, and then we'll get you in the drawing. And then we're gonna announce it on Monday. And we also gonna have probably a little special, gift for people too, just for entering. So I'm not gonna say what that is, but
But it's significant.
it is
I-
significant. Yes.
If I'm thinking about what you're thinking about,
Y
yeah,
yeah.
we're thinking about the same thing. And
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know on both sites, both Planted Places and My Home Park, there's a ton of information, whether you're a beginner or more advanced in in gardening and working on growing your own food, growing natives, a ton of information. I know you're always posting some great videos how to do things.
That's so important because you know what I think? I think it's really important to kind of grow the population of gardeners and people that, I mean, I just think when you, I mean, I'm going to get into the whole, right, like, why do we do sustainability and just climate and things like that? And soil is so important. So I spend a lot of time. I have a lot of people that come to us as customers that are brand new to growing food. And that's really good. That's really important because its whole thing is how do we make it really easy for people? Because everybody should be growing their own food. Obviously there's nutritional benefits, but also you're really making a difference in the planet by learning about soil, growing with soil. And then when you go to your farmer's market, like now you know a little bit about soil, you can actually be talking to those farmers and being like, hey, are you guys regenerating? Do you regenerative agriculture? Or, you know, are you organic? Like you're starting to ask those questions. And it's kind of like this groundswell. That's kind of what we need to be doing to make an impact and make a difference, you know? So we can make the world a better place, but you know, for our kids. I mean, that's one thing I wanted to say real quick, David, which is so funny when you said earlier, you know, gosh, I need to start bringing more greens in. You know, I got 3 boys. They never had salads. Maybe my middle son did. They never did until I started growing food on a wall, like there behind me. And they were so intrigued. They're like, okay, what are these leaves? Like, it was the funniest thing. I'm like, that would be food, you know? And now, like, they have to have a salad every dinner. Like, they get kind of upset, like, "Mom, you're not making a salad tonight?" I'm like, "Okay, you know, someone else make the salad," right? But they, you know, so which is really kind of cool if you think about it for, you know, picky eaters, you know, when you grow
Huge
your own
transformation.
food,
So you're
it's
telling
so.
me at their when they're at college, they're eating like that also? Is that what
Well,
you're
this is
telling
the
me?
thing. They get really bummed. They're like, and so we have microgreen kits. And so I actually send them microgreen kits because you can grow those inside a dorm next, you know, to a bright window, right? But you know, this is an outdoor unit. If you grow indoors, you need to grow light. And so that's in their dorms, that's kind of hard. So I give them something that's just like little container pots to put on their windowsill to grow microgreens. But that is honestly the first thing they want when they get an apartment. They're like, we got to find one with a sunny deck, Mom.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
So great.
transformation, Chrissy.
There you go. There you go. Well, that, and you know, speaking of the word transformation, before we sign off here, I will say, and this is about natives, like with California, and you kind of mentioned, you know, we did have a drought, right? And now, you know, we had a lot of rain this last year, but you know, we will continue to have really strange weather. And during when the drought hit, my backyard looked very different. When I first moved in here, it was a lot of non-native plants, azaleas, rhododendron, things that belong in the Pacific Northwest. They do not belong in, in California. You know, it's just, it's too dry here. It's too hot. You know, and I found myself always out in the garden, just like, oh my water bill, everything. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then the drought came and, you know, we couldn't water. And so at that point, I completely changed my backyard and I said, okay, I got to bring in native plants. I did a bunch of research and and I also had a big wasp problem, no bees, lots of wasps. And then I tell you, I brought in my native plants and literally I do not have a wasp problem now. Now I just have a ton of honeybees, hummingbirds, tons of birds too. It's like an aviary out here. And I think that's because I grow food and the little insects, they like to eat them.
Right.
But like, you know, and worms and stuff. But it really changed my habitat. And I'm like, I'm a walking testimony for you.
Yeah. You restored the habitat and now
I
it's at
just,
equilibrium. So you've got a nice balance and no
it's
pet, I mean,
absolutely.
limited pests.
Exactly, exactly. And you have some, you know, the good and bad pests. I always talk about that, right? Because you know, like a lot of these predators need something to prey on, right? Like, and so the you want the insects and you want everything. It kind of has to be in balance. Yeah. So very good. All right. Well,
Chrissy, great
yeah,
working with you again.
so good working with you. Good seeing you. And you guys, everybody, put your name in for our giveaway. $100 at both stars, planted places in my home park. Build your dream garden. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.